Hi everybody, welcome very much to the stream. As today Cloud Surfer is here, and today we are doing a 360 reading or a 360 reading for the new moon in Gemini. Thank you very much for watching, your support is greatly appreciated. The 360 reading is a reading that I developed and came up with, which will allow us to see the state of the spirit in general and how it's manifesting that into real life. And you can get this reading for yourself as well using the link tree and email down below to contact me. So if you've never seen a 360 reading before, we're going to take 13 cards and one will represent the state of the spirit that we live in, because like we have spirits living within you, all of us together also live in a bigger spirit, and it's frequency and vibration, its intentions, its manifestations, its desires affect us as well. And we'll be able to see and identify how those desires, how those waves, how those influences are influencing us in every major part of our lives, from the first house to the 12th house. If you are into astrology, it will be more natural to you to understand the first house to the 12th house. If you're not very familiar, we'll be doing that as we go through the reading. So I already took the tarot cards a bit earlier, so we can have a bit of a faster reading here. And in the middle, we got for the new moon in Gemini 2025 to create new feelings and new emotions about mutable and adaptable ways to think, communicate, and analyze in logical, cold, and detached ways. Also, new feelings about sharing, receiving, and mixing with the environment our thoughts, ideas, and logical ways to socialize and analyze. And the first card, the one that goes into the middle, is the Lovers. Gemini itself, actually. So the new moon in Gemini is not running away too much from the energies of Gemini. We also have Mercury and Jupiter conjuncting the new moon. So a lot of Gemini energy, a lot of mutable energy, adaptable mindset, adaptable views, logical views, cold expressions, but not like dismissing expressions. Don't confuse with that as well. And the Lovers here symbolize that desire, that need, or just you being in that state to find something that mirrors you or that reflects you, or that you can be mutable and adaptable with your thoughts and ideas, with your values and your relatability. So in general, everybody else in this new moon in Gemini is needing or wanting or already creating those mutable scenarios where they can share or receive in a more pleasurable way, in a more efficient way, in a new way, in a more fresh way, in a more logical or cold, but also kind of surface level way, more spreading than going deep when it comes to communications, sharing certain subjects, sharing certain topics, sharing certain values, certain pleasures, because it's the Lovers in the end of the day. So there is a degree of value in that connection, a degree of value in that mutability, that ability to share and be a part of a mindset as well. So be careful with that. Maybe you will become too much in love with a mindset and an idea that it's not profitable to you, but it feels all right to be associated and validating or being validated by that idea or source of thought or any type of topic discussion. So make sure to be following your own personal interests, make sure to be following your own uniqueness and individuality, make sure to be aware of your core set of values, and make sure to be mutable as in an expressive way, an external way, and also be open for new and fresh ideas when it comes for you being able perhaps to receive better ideas from others, perhaps you being able to see in your surroundings better ways for you to think, communicate, and analyze in more cold and detached ways. Maybe here you will find a reflection or an example in other relationships, in somebody else at a distance that will help you realize that you need to think a bit clearer, or a bit faster, or a bit slower, or you shouldn't think so much, or you shouldn't be so scattered in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So the Lovers here is really representing the ability to initiate those new process, new feelings and emotions about being mutable with your mind, your thoughts and ideas, but also there is an easier time to connect and reflect and be mutable with your surroundings, but always in a more logical, cold, detached, and surface level way. Keep that in mind. Then that's the overall state. Next will be the materialization and manifestation of this specific card, of this specific state that the card is translating into us, into major parts of our life. So the first house is the first awareness, the first feeling, the first action, the first expression, and it also represents your personal insecurities, personal interests, and personality in general. So everybody's going to be taking a bit more personal or seeing new ways about the Ace of Pentacles. And that means that it's a very unique way to be making sense, or to see value, or to be valuable, or to see somebody else as valuable as well. So when it comes to your personality, personal interests, and personal insecurities, there is a realistic, a structured or potentially structured unique thought, unique feeling, unique substance, unique creativity, but it's a bit more realistic. You also might be getting access and being more immutable into new situations that deals with physical circumstances, structures, practicality, profit, validation, organization, but there are new physical circumstances or new physical thoughts or new more structured thoughts, I mean not physical thoughts, you know what I'm saying, about or in your personal life, personal interests, and personal insecurities. So make sure to take this as an advantage. It's a new opportunity, it's a new scenario, and it has potential to support you, or it has the potential to be supported by you, and then giving you some type of profit or validation or knowledge, structure, you know what I'm saying? But it all comes from you being more mutable and adaptable with your mind, emotions, and feelings in the more personal areas of your life that deal with your personality, personal interests, and personal insecurities. Then moving on to the second house that deals with your values, how you value yourself, how you value others, how you think others value you, and just being fixed, consistent, or stubborn with structure, privacy, and profit. And here we have the 10 of Cups. So it means when it comes to your own values, when it comes to your physical structure and the way that you prefer or see as only being able to achieve and maintain in a fixed and consistent way practicality, structure, and profit, it's with a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of dreams, a lot of illusions, a lot of connectivity, maybe too much connectivity because of the Lovers, the card in the middle. There is a lot of connectivity, a lot of interacting, interchanging information, mindsets, feelings, emotions, new ideas, new socializations, new communications, you know what I'm saying? And it might be a bit too much for your physical privacy, for your values, for your core set of values. Maybe you don't want to be feeling so much, maybe you don't want to be connecting so much, but this can be too much water, and for most people it will be, because most people will kind of feel a little bit hard dealing with this, but some people, depending on their individual cases, might see this and use this as a gift because it's so much water. If you already know how to deal with your emotions and feelings and the surroundings emotions and feelings, you can use this to boost the connection, to boost the purpose, to boost the pleasure, and to boost the depth of the connections and reflections on a mental level that we are in general receiving and in from that card in the middle. But it's the main thing here for the second house is too many emotions, too many feelings, too much connection, too many dreams, too many illusions, but it can be used for positive ways if you can handle and maneuver all those emotions and feelings. Moving on to the third house, which deals with the surroundings, surface level relationships, mutable ways to think, communicate, and analyze. Here we have the Queen of Pentacles. So here we can be supported in a practical, structured, knowledgeable, or organized way by the surroundings, or we can see examples, people, places, and things in our surroundings, in our short communications, in our surface level connections that can inspire us to support ourselves better, or it's easier for us to receive from the surroundings things, ideas, practices, objects, and support that will support us, that will make us feel validated and bountiful in the surroundings or because of the surroundings. So here it's really to be more open for examples, changes, and interesting connections in your surroundings. You might not be the one going through that, for an example, because it's surface level connections. You might see somebody interacting, you might see somebody going through something, you might hear about somebody that did this and did that, and if you are a bit more open, if you are a bit more able and open to engage with that surrounding or with that input from your surroundings, it can be easier to receive some type of knowledge or structure or organization method to support you, or in this case you supporting yourself, or literally there is in our surroundings somebody, some place, some idea, or some energy that can come and support us in a practical, bountiful, and private way as well. But you gotta be open, and you gotta be not too open as well, because a lot of people might be looking like they can support you, but not everybody can, or not everybody wants to. But they might look like it to make you go in their way, so keep that in mind. Moving on to the fourth house, the house that deals with family, emotional privacy, the first feeling, the first emotion, the first connection, the first purpose, the first depth, and in that we have the Ace of Cups. So it means that when it comes to creating new emotions and feelings and new purposes out of this new moon, when it comes to your personal spaces and familiarity and places of comfort, there is a new and unique feeling, emotion, dream, illusion, connection, or purpose. And this will vary for everybody else, but there is... Oh, and it's very interesting because we have in the first house and in the fourth house, which are both cardinal elements and they square each other, there is both aces. So when it comes to initiating things in this new moon in Gemini, or when it comes to the first feeling and the first emotion, when it comes to the first vision and the first reflection, when it comes to your personal life and personal spaces and emotions, there is a new and powerful and unique scenario. In this case, a unique emotion, a unique connection, a unique wisdom, a unique feeling and emotion that can drive some creativity or some profit out of. But you must be willing to initiate and go through those emotions, go through those moods, or apply limits and boundaries in your house, in your emotions, in your connections, or destroy them, uplift them, because Jupiter is exalted in the fourth house. So sometimes it's all about expanding so much that the limits and boundaries of old break, so you can initiate those new, unique, and more valuable limits and boundaries within yourself and your personal spaces, emotions, and connections. But that is unique feeling and emotion within you, or in your comfortable spaces, in your soft spots, and in how you create new emotions, feelings, and purposes. Moving on to the fifth house, the house that deals with entertainment, with attention and you entertaining somebody, or being entertained, you paying attention to something or something paying attention to you. And it also deals with our ego, uniqueness, individuality, expression, visions, and creativity in general. In this house, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So here, there is too much of something. Too much pressure, too much responsibility, too much realistic thoughts, too much reality in your mind, blocking you potentially from new ideas, new relations, new connections on a mental, social, and communicative level. And also another mirror here in the second house, which is a fixed house, and the fifth house, which is also a fixed house, both tense. So when it comes to being fixed or consistent or stubborn and being your own unique way, standing strong, there is too much of something. All right, but as in the second house, you can make some work out of it. You can make something out of it. But for most people, they just have to deal with it. They just have to see the good in all this pressure. And hopefully they can lift up that pressure like some esoteric gym bars and grow stronger, spiritually speaking, mentally speaking, socially speaking, relationship speaking, in a way to still be mutable and adaptable with their minds, but still keep their own unique mind. All right? So in case of your attention, of your pleasure, when it comes to express and being seen, perhaps there are too much pressure, too much limits, too much boundaries, too much realistic perspectives, too much physical standards in your way or in your surroundings way, so they can really see your light, they can't really see your entertainment, attention, and validation, because in their mind, it's too practical, it's too dry, it's too realistic, and you're coming in a more open, more entertaining, more detached and light way, for an example, depending how you are approaching this new moon. But in general, a big accumulation of earth, of pressure, structure, but also can be an accumulation of bountifulness, of profit, of efficiency and organization, but it can feel very dry, it can feel very limited, very boundaried, but in the end of the day, you can make use of it. You know what I'm saying? Let me just drink some water here. Moving on to the sixth house, the house that deals with work, routine, patterns, and organization in a mutable and adaptable way. We have the Hanged Man. And this means basically that it's time to be a bit less logical, a bit less practical, and a bit more open to feelings, emotions, and subconscious patterns, or that you are organizing, structuring, and applying some degree to increase the profitability in a mutable and adaptable way to your subconscious patterns, to your emotions and feelings, your dreams and illusions, because the Hanged Man represents the man, the logicality, being hanged, and it's riding like a unicorn in the middle of the waves. So your logicality can only observe right now. It can't really do much. It can't really structure. It can't really make sense. But you can still organize it. You can still bring some limits and boundaries to it in a mutable way, though. But in the end of the day, this can be a great gift because you can see your internal patterns. You know what I'm saying? You can see your reflections. You can see or feel or be aware in a more practical and mutable way about some creativity, about some trauma, about some great memories from the past, about things that you are carrying on a deep level, and now you are being able to work that out. You are being able to bring some health to it, some routine, some practicality, some work, some sense as well. You know what I'm saying? Moving on to the seventh house, the house that deals with creating new relationships or new ways to go about current relationships, new thoughts, new ideas, new ways to think, communicate, and socialize in more sophisticated, balanced, and pleasurable ways. We have the Two of Swords. That means that we are looking to be more relatable. We are looking to listen, but also be listened to, and we are a bit more interested, a bit more open. We want to see the other side. We want to see what others have in their minds in a new and unique way. We want to hear them. We want to make sense about their thoughts and ideas in our own way. We want to create a new connection, relationship, conversation, or mindset about our surroundings, about ourselves in our surroundings, about how others interact, think, communicate, and analyze what others and you are thinking, communicating, and analyzing in a new, creative, and sophisticated way. So we want to relate, be related to, and be relatable in a more sophisticated way about this new moon in Gemini. So again, in conjunction with the card in the middle, the lovers, the two, the duo, the reflection, the connection in a more logical, social, and sophisticated way when it comes to your relationships, all types of relationships, commitment, and pleasure. Moving on to the 8th house, the house that deals with deep emotions, deep feelings, transformative circumstances, deep wisdom, deep knowledge, very personal wisdom, very personal knowledge, very personal circumstances, deep desires. We have the Two of Wands. So here we're looking to relate in a more creative, expressive, passionate, frustrated, or spiritual way, or you're looking to relate our feelings. We're looking to relate our passion. We're looking to relate our frustrations or deep transformative circumstances or deep transformative feelings and notions. So we want to relate that, and we want to hear from that as well. And these two houses here really show or reflect more the card in the middle, the lovers. Here we're really looking for connection, for relatability. So make sure to not be too open, but make sure to be open when it comes to your relationships and commitments, when it comes to your deep relationships, deep, purposeful commitment, relationships, and desires. So we want to relate in those areas in different ways, but we still want to relate and see the other side, see our reflection in others and see others' reflections in ourselves. Moving on to the 9th house, that deals with being mutable and adaptable, sharing and receiving your expressions, visions, actions, wisdom and knowledge, faith and belief systems. Here we have the 10 of Wands, so a lot of fire, a lot of intention, a lot of perhaps unsureness, perhaps too much heat, too much movement, too much feeling, too much the need to express, the need to connect, the need to relate. Or in the end of the day, like the other 10 cards, the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles that we had before, can be a gift. Maybe you're seeing so much space and so much opportunities that you can apply those new mutable and logical ways to feel, think, communicate, and analyze to all that fire, to all that power, to all that passion, all that frustration, all that wisdom, all that faith, all that belief. So make sure to share that, make sure to release that in any creative, spiritual, and unique way that you might see fit for yourself. Moving on to the 10th house, that deals with new creative ways to be practical, structured, and organized, that also deals with status, career, and new supportive or limiting networking and associations. We have the 5 of Cups. So this means that we are getting very emotional, very attached, but also very reassured, very purposeful, and very connected to new physical circumstances or new status or new careers or new paths or new ways to approach those things in practical ways. So it doesn't mean we're getting attached to a new idea or a new practical way or a new practical circumstance. I mean, like physically, you might just be going through the same things physically, but now you're creating more purpose, you're creating more emotion, you're creating more the feeling and need to connect and be connected when it comes to your business, to your practicality, to new limits and boundaries, new networking and association. And this can also mean, most likely, that the new connections or the new networking, and the new associations that are practical and supportive, now we need them to be more emotional, to be more spiritual, to be more connective, to be more purposeful, to respect more what we want to see and connect to in our surroundings, derived from the card in the middle. Moving on to the 11th house, that deals with big associations, expanded networks, mental associations, mental networks, unique yet practical, fresh yet consistent, rebellious yet balanced, structures, limits, boundaries, and being able to think, communicate, and organize in your own unique way. Here we have the 7 of Wands. So this means that we are separating from old visions, old actions, old expressions, old ways to feel, old ways to see yourself and to see others when it comes to what I just said before, and big topics, big subjects, science, astrology, psychology, biology, religion, politics, society in general, societal structures, the intention behind the final goal of a social structure, of a social organization, things that everybody's talking about, things that people are building mental structures around. So we can now be inspired by new feelings, new passions, new motivations, or new spiritual purposes, and we can detach from old visions, actions, and expressions in those areas, so we can go into a new vision, for an example, that somebody else created, or maybe you had a couple of new visions and new feelings floating around in your space. Now it's easier to go into those spaces and think, communicate, and analyze in a more unique way and in a more broadcast, worldwide level about it. Or you might be more open to see, feel, and associate yourself spiritually and creatively to new subjects, new topics, or new unique ideas that are being shared throughout the world or in your own world around you. And now lastly, but not least, let's go to the 12th house that deals with being mutable and adaptable with your feelings and emotions, with your dreams and illusions, deep wisdom and knowledge, exalted love, pleasure, and commitment. And here we have the 6 of Swords. Here it means that with this new moon in Gemini, which is squaring the 12th house, which is squaring Pisces, we are learning how to bring more consistency, more authority, and more attention to how we and others are intellectual, logical, social, clean, and clear when it comes to thinking, communicating, analyzing, and socializing our deep wisdom and deep knowledge. Also, this is asking for us to bring a more clear and consistent and unique mind to when we are being mutable and adaptable, when we are sharing and receiving feelings and emotions, dreams and illusions, creativity, spiritual belief systems, spirituality in general, faith, intentions, purpose, connections in general. Maybe somebody is trying to justify their actions, somebody's trying to justify their desires, somebody's trying to justify their structure. And this he's asking us for us to bring a more clear mindset when others are trying to being mutable themselves with us to the emotion and feeling, the purpose and spirituality behind their actions, their connections, and their structures. But in general, this means to bring a more logical authority as well on a personal level to how you connect and associate your feelings and emotions, dreams and illusions, nightmares as well, and connection, deep pleasure, and extreme commitment in general. So this is everything for today. I hope everybody watching enjoyed the stream. Remember to leave a like and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below. And remember, you can get this type of reading and other type of readings with me by using the link tree down below and by using the email as well to contact me. Thank you very much for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. Thank you for watching.